an Ironic Media production. Visit us at ironickmedia.com.
You're crazy, man. You're a loser. Playoffs?
It's the Mark and Lowell Show.
The Mark and who?
Starring the meteorologist who does it for the viewers.
Smoke!
Lowell Meltzer.
Can you get out of here?
And the man who rides the coattails of his friends and family. Mark Ronick.
Hey guys, there's enough with the amplifier.
And now, here they are. Radio's equivalent of a dial-up connection.
Hello, boys.
Mark and Lowell.
Welcome back to the Mark and Lowell Show. I am your host, Mark Ronick, and here with me, Lowell Meltzer. Hello, Lowell.
Hey, COVID. You got COVID.
Last week, it was the All Madden Show. This week, it's the All COVID Show.
All COVID, all the time.
Yes, well, we have in some ways been hit with the COVID bug. We've had family members since the last set of recordings come down with COVID, so we share all of our great recent memories of dealing with COVID with our kids.
Yes, it's been quite an adventure, and I'm sure there's still more to come.
Yeah. Lowell's family had it. My family had it. Jonah chimes in. Jonah is on this episode. His wife is a nurse at a hospital, so she gave us some pretty interesting information as well. So let's get to it. Let's let you in on all the craziness that went on with our COVID stuff. It is the Mark and Lowell Show.
Resistance is futile. It's the Mark and Lowell Show.
So I recognize that when this airs, it may be quite a bit of time, or at least sometime since all the holidays and everything, and we haven't really shared with everybody about our holidays. We didn't get together because of COVID, basically. It was just, that's right around the height of the Omicron virus version.
Started really pluming.
Yeah, and I know there was a recent episode not too long ago that we talked about when we returned from the holidays. Maybe we'll have COVID.
Yeah.
Right?
We came pretty close.
I guess it started with your household.
Yeah, so we got back. We went to this resort that we love in the Poconos called Woodlock. We had gone back and forth whether we should go, whether we should not go, and we were like, F it, we're going.
Mm-hmm.
We're freaking going. We're going to wear masks. We'll have a great time. And it was fine. It was totally fine. But then we got back, and we got back on like Thursday. It was like Saturday, like around 5 o'clock in the morning. Sloan comes into our room and says she doesn't feel good, and I felt her head. She had a definite fever. Gave her some Motrin, and then she slept till like 10 o'clock and woke up and felt okay. Like her fever had broken a little bit because of the Motrin. And then I had one of the take-home tests, and I gave it to her, and she was positive. So I took her to the urgent care, and the urgent care was like, well, if she already tested positive, we're not going to test her again. So they said the most important thing is make sure she just keeps drinking lots of fluids. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
So her fever came back later in the day, gave her some Tylenol, and then right before bed, gave her more Motrin. Fever was on and off. And then the next day, like Sunday, she started getting pepped back up, progressively got better over the next couple of days. And then after a couple of days, it was like she never had it.
How old is Sloan?
Sloan is going to be 6 in a week. Or I should say, this is January 16th. Or 15th.
And she's she is vaccinated
she's
as well,
double
right?
vaxxed, yeah. So she got through it pretty quick. And Reed had like a runny nose and stuff. We didn't test him, but we assumed that he had it. But he bounced back even faster. I don't know if he did have it or not. Through the stress of it, you start getting like body aches and, I have a drip in my throat and body aches. But we both tested negative twice with the take-home thing. So... And then I was like thinking, well, did she really even have it? Like, was it just a flu or like, but the test was positive, definitely for her. And it was negative, definitely for me.
Yeah. But if she tested positive, had a fever, was congested.
And she had a bad cough. I should say it started out when we got back like Thursday night, Friday during the day, she had this cough. And I was looking at Allie and I was like, that does not sound good. Not sound good. And sure enough. But thankfully, vaccines work. She had the fever for probably 36 hours. And then we got that snow, and then she was like begging to go play in the snow, and I was like, all right, go play in the snow if you want to play in the snow. So, but I had to take a couple days off of work, and it was a whole thing. So
yes, and then for us, we haven't been anywhere. Well, we went, Amy and I, for New Year's weekend, we went on our own little retreat and went glamping. So we were kind of isolated. I mean, clearly there could have been some germs, I guess, in the cabin that we stayed in or something, but we never got sick. And then Matthew, my stepson, he's been actually isolated for weeks now because I guess several weeks ago he's got all his wisdom teeth pulled. So he was home from school for like a week-ish, and that's where the whole Omicron virus, that variant, started going rampant, especially in his own school. So like within a week or two of recovery from his wisdom teeth, he was finding out all his friends had COVID. I mean, it was like he could not find anyone to hang out with, nothing, because everyone was sick. So he just laid low. I mean, literally there was about 3 weeks where Matthew was doing nothing. And he finally went back to school. I'm guessing that's probably where he brought it home most recently, because he came home over the weekend from visiting his dad and then said he felt like he had a little headache, maybe a little congested. So we also had him take the test, and boom, positive. So we're like, crap. Then we realized, oh, wait, Maya was here with us all week long while Matthew was here with us, and she had gone back to her mother's. So I had to call her, tell her they had a home test. She was already feeling symptoms, but Maya is generally very normally congested anyway from allergies and other things, so we weren't sure, but we were like, take it. She took it, positive. So I recognized I had a headache during the day yesterday when we were all testing positive, so I decided I would take the test. I came back negative so far. I wish I could be optimistic and say maybe I've avoided it. I don't know how I'm going to be able to avoid this.
Do you feel fine?
I feel fine.
That
right
was
now.
with me too. Like, I thought for sure we were going to get it because I was all over Sloan. We were wearing masks. We were not wearing masks in the house. Like, and Sloan would just come up to me and be like, "Daddy," and like hugging me and like stuff. And I'm like, I'm just going to get it. Fuck it. I'm just going to get it. And I didn't get it.
Yeah.
And I'm double vaxxed and boosted. So I don't know if that's helping. It might be helping. It could very well. Maybe that's why you haven't gotten it. And they say it's even harder to catch it or get major symptoms if you're catching it from someone who's vaxxed, right?
And you're vaxxed,
right? So maybe that's helping too.
Yeah.
Megan said 80% currently, approximately 80% of the patients in her hospital are unvaccinated.
Yeah,
it's about 80-20 of the people who end up in the hospital from COVID.
Yeah. That sounds about what it is pretty much most places.
Yep.
This shit ain't going anywhere anytime soon.
What I think it's going to take for us to get to normal here is when we stop doing so much of the testing, I feel like it maybe needs to get to a point where, all right, you're sick, you have symptoms, stay home, get better. If the symptoms linger for maybe more than 7 days, then maybe go to the doctor or something like that, as long as you're not having difficulty breathing or anything like that. Because that's kind of like what you do with the flu, too, right? If you have a fever for more than 5 days, you're kind of like, hey, doc, what do I...
Right.
The testing sends everyone into a frenzy.
How so? What do you mean?
No, I mean, you see that they use it as like eye candy with the numbers. Like, Maryland had 17,000 new cases. And it's like, well, we've known all along this latest variant is very contagious, but the symptoms aren't as bad.
Well, and like,
if you're
think about
vaccinated.
You're talking about getting tested for a thing that it sounds like, at least for most cases, that those who are vaccinated have mild cold symptoms.
Right.
Maybe moderate cold symptoms. And that's it. That's nothing to like get freaked out about.
Right.
So
I think we need
as long as you're vaccinated, get COVID. If you get COVID, stay home, get better, and then like you do for the flu.
Right.
Exactly.
I mean, I think it's just we need to stop freaking out so much, and hopefully, as more of these variants come out, they're going to be less and less powerful. Like this one seems it's definitely not as deadly at all as the first one that came out.
Right.
So
I
know we're getting into Madden here, but but anyway, if you look at like when they first came out and the hospitalizations and deaths went with the trend of the positive cases. But if you look now, the positive cases are like through the roof, but the hospitalizations and deaths are still trending like down. So that's the good news. And that's, vaccines definitely have something to do with that. But I think overall, I think also these, in my opinion, from what I've read, that it seems like these variants are losing their luster a little bit. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Oh, I had something I wanted to ask you guys when we were on our trip at Woodlock. It's this type of place where you get family dining, which you pay for in advance, and you get your own table, and they have like all this stuff. So one of the things I noticed that I do, and I was curious if you guys do this too, the garnishes that you get on the plates, right, with certain meals. One, they put these nice orange wedges on it. They're clearly for decoration. However, when I'm done eating the meal, I eat the oranges. And I was curious, do you guys notice if you eat any of the garnishes that you get when you get a meal? You know, sometimes it's like they put something like lettuce that you're really not supposed to eat, but then you end up eating it anyway. Like,
No,
do you? Well, I know
don't.
you don't. Jonah doesn't eat any vegetables.
He's gotten much better.
I'm just curious, like if you're eating a dish and there's a garnish on it that's an edible type of garnish, do you find that you might eat it sometimes? Because when it comes, the one for me that I notice is if there's any kind of orange or fruit that is served with something as a garnish, I will eat that fruit.
Yeah, strawberry maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe, but not an orange wedge. I don't trust the orange wedge.
So my thing is I might, and it depends, because when it's fruits, and I think I've talked about this before, when it's fruits with a cooked meal, I don't like that. Mm-hmm. I don't like garnished fruits on a cooked meal.
Right.
It's for some reason. So I probably wouldn't in that case, but I don't think so, especially like an orange slice. I don't know where it came from and how good it is, and so I might
garnish.
Avoid it.
It's a garnish.
I know,
but I think you can eat it. I don't think they're giving it to you.
Yeah.
I don't think they're serving it to you and thinking, oh, they won't eat this. I think they know it's edible, and so I don't think there's anything wrong with it per se.
Yeah, I was just curious. It was a thought that crossed my mind when it was happening, and I was like, oh, I wonder.
Now, mind you, the garnish at a joint like that is probably better than like, an IHOP. Then maybe you don't eat the garnish.
Right.
You know? So quality of place might have some factor in that decision.
Resistance is futile. It's the Mark and Lowell Show.
So, speaking of garnishes, I think it was 2016, which is like nuts that it's this long ago, but
I know.
Pee Wee Herman came out with another movie on Netflix, and it was with that Joe Garagiola guy. Do you know?
I vaguely remember that.
He came out with another Pee Wee Herman adventure movie.
Yes, okay.
And I think it was on Netflix or one of them,
Right,
So
yes.
The other night we were looking through some stuff, and I'm like, I was like, this Pee Wee Herman. I said, I never watched this. I'm going to watch it. So it was a typical Pee Wee Herman movie, but he definitely looks a lot older. But one of the things he learns about in his travels is garnishes on dishes. And in the end of the movie, he works at a diner in his hometown. So at the end of the movie, he starts serving garnishes, and the garnishes are the oranges and everything. And people are asking, like, should we eat it? Should we not eat it? And I was like, this is perfect. This is right. This is exactly what I was talking about. You should watch it. If you're a Pee Wee Herman fan, it's good, but he's definitely, they caked on the makeup heavy.
I feel like I've seen him. I remember the promotions behind that whole thing, and I remember seeing him come on to different shows in character and thinking that makeup was really caked on.
Yeah, but it's a typical Pee Wee Herman adventure. You have to, if you go into it knowing that, and if you're a fan, I think you'll like it. The kids liked it. They thought it was funny.
Last episode, we were talking about celebrity deaths.
Mm-hmm.
I believe the genie just died recently as well. His from the television show, the Pee Wee Herman Show.
Oh, the Mecca Lecca Hi, Mecca Heiny Ho.
Yes, I think Genie passed away as well. Yeah,
that's great. So wait, so for the question, I was thinking maybe we just ask people, do you eat the garnish or do you not eat the garnish? And if you do, what's your favorite garnish to eat?
Yes, that's a great one. Let's do that. So please let us know in the comments and anywhere else you see fit. You can even do it at markandlowell.com. We would love to hear from you. What garnishes do you eat that you probably shouldn't? Until then, we'll see you next week on The Mark and Lowell Show.
Bye-bye.
Flashback.
Jonah, we found this tape that you, me, and Mark drove 3 separate cars up to camp for that very first reunion. Not like back in the, I guess it was what, when we were
Mid 90s.
Yeah, mid 90s. Mid to late 90s, that very first reunion.
Yep.
For some reason, you, me, and Mark drove 3 separate cars up there.
Because we were probably cool enough that we wanted our own cars up there.
That's what I said.
And then the kicker is Mark has the video camera, and the entire ride up to camp, he's videotaping the trip.
By myself.
By himself.
Yeah,
one hand on the wheel, one hand on the video camera. The whole trip.
One of our favorite parts of any tape ever is interviewing the toll booth lady. It's like, that's how passionate about camp we are. Like, everything leading up to camp is exciting, at least in our head.
Yeah, I know. The problem was, I think that's the only Ramblewood tape in there, meaning that you're safe
Thank
for now.
God. And let us all thank God for that.
I'm not thanking God for that.
Yeah, I know you're not, but I sure am for all 3 of us, pal.
Yeah, I need to find that tape.
Yeah, keep looking. Keep looking.
So, Jonah, on Facebook, all we're seeing are pictures of you tarred and feathered.
Yeah, I know.
And we know that you work at a camp all year round, and we know that there's something that has to do with the camp session, but it's gotten to the point where I think it's a little disturbing.
Yeah, you're really getting it.
They have a thing here called kangaroo court. And kangaroo court is where the campers get to accuse the staff, anybody on the staff, of crimes. And they come up with the punishment. And then we get kangaroo court ready by getting it's like slop fest, man. And everyone has to come up and you're accused of whatever. And then there's some like tar and feathering like punishment for every crime.
What?
And every time so far, the 2 times we've done it, everyone else is all slopped up. Me, the first time I had to eat a pickle, and the second time I had to eat broccoli. Like, I made the mistake of telling them of my vegetable phobia, and now that's all they make me do, eat vegetables.
Yes, that's something the listeners definitely need to know, especially anything green.
Oh, my God.
Vegetables are something Jonah can't stand. But you've gotten much better over the years.
Much better. Yes, I have.
But you have a phobia because basically a teacher, when you were in like kindergarten, shoved a pickle down your throat when you didn't want it. You're like,
or something along those lines. Miss Preston, the pickle witch,
force fed it down your throat.
No, yeah. She started vegetable taste day, and every Wednesday she'd bring in a different vegetable and cut it up, and we'd have to come take a bite and say what we thought. And I was having nothing to do with it because I was already a picky eater, and it all came to the head on pickle day. She cut up the pickles, and she's like, "Jonah, it's your turn." And I was like, "No." And she's like, "Jonah, come eat a pickle." And I was like, "No." Evidently, she like screamed at me, lost her cool, and like flipped out all over me, and I went running under the desk, and that started the 40-year battle with vegetables and fruits.
Yeah, and then she said,
Wonderful.
"If you don't eat this pickle the right way, I'm going to put it somewhere else."
Yeah,
Yeah.
Right?
We have video of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey everybody, see who am I coming in through the mic?
Yep.
Okay, should I be audacitying?
Yeah, just to be safe.
I'm gonna roll my Audacity too.
Okay, I'm gonna roll here.
Recording in progress.
All right. Got to do those checks. All right.
Let me.
I am ready to go.
Everyone's
All right,
recording? Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Thanks for stopping. Some night, huh?
On this very night, 10 years ago, along this same stretch of road, in a dense fog, just like this, I saw the worst accident I ever seen. There was this sound, like a garbage truck dropped off the Empire State Building. And when they finally pulled the driver's body from the twisted, burning wreck, it looked like this. Yes, sir. That was the worst accident I ever seen.
I'd get off right up here.
Have a nice day.
Be sure and tell them Large Marge sent ya.
Large Marge sent me.
Did you say Large Marge?
She just dropped me off.
That's impossible. Large Marge? She's...
It was 10 years ago, on a night just like tonight. Why, tonight's the anniversary. Worst accident I ever seen.
But that means the Large Marge I was riding with was...
Her ghost.